there and welcome to my YouTube channel, Julia McNeil Crafts. So today I am going to be playing along with the Call Me Crafty Al's No Spend November Challenge, and this particular one that I'm doing is All Scrap, which is to use all your scraps. I've always loved trying to use my scraps. I will tell you lots about the various things that I have done in the past. I've got a lot better so that I don't hoard nearly as much as I used to. But clearly I still need to improve because I managed to find quite a lot of scraps. So one of my favourite things to do with scraps, and I have not done it in absolutely ages, is to make quirky houses. So I thought what I would do is I would do a double page spread in my Junk and Disorderly journal with little houses. So I'm just going to kind of be cutting random bits and pieces out and seeing what I can come up with and try and make some sort of village scene. So it has been a while since I have done this. So I used to always keep, I don't throw anything away. I never have. And I have gone on various missions to use my scraps. I think one of the best things that I ever did was when my daughter was little and she was moving. She'd kind of gone from, you know, staying in our room in her Moses basket to actually getting a you know, a little toddler bed in a room on her own. That I actually decorated her bedroom using scraps. So what I had done, I think it was a Kirsty Allsop, one of these crafty programs that she did, and she'd painted a big tree on somebody's bedroom wall, and I thought, oh, that's quite a good idea. And that is what I did. I got some brown paper, not brown paper, sorry, I got some brown paint and painted this massive tree on the wall. And yeah, it kind of went round the corner of the room. So it was kind of in the corner, so it went along wall and along one wall and off another. And I sat there and die cut loads and loads of little leaves. I die cut loads of leaves, and I also made these little quirky owls. I just kind of cut out of circles and things and put it all together, and yeah, decorated my daughter's room like that. It was quite cool. It's very unique. Nobody had a room quite like hers. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. I thought it was, but you know, she might not have felt that way. She seemed to quite like it. She was also quite young and kind of pulled quite a lot off it, so that didn't go so well. But yeah, so I used to have, you know, these big Tesco bags for life. I used to have one of those absolutely jam-packed with scraps, and that's what I decided, right, I'm on a mission. I am going to use up all my scraps because this is ridiculous. And yeah, that is what I attempted to do. But it didn't quite use them all up, unfortunately. I tried. So then I sat and spent a day just die cutting, and die cut a big box of shapes for me to use with my card making and stuff. And yeah, that was kind of okay. And then I had lots of friends with younger children, so I made up all these little packs for them to make their own cards and spare bits of paper and bits and bobs like that, which seemed to go down quite well. And in the end I gave up, and when my daughter was in nursery, so that's how long I started my war on scraps, from when she was a baby to when she went to nursery, and I donated a whole load of paper. I did the same. I kind of die cut some into shapes and put it in and let them have it at the nursery. And since then, my ethos has been that when I am making something, do I want the chimney for that? No, I don't think I do. When I'm making something, what I try to do is use up the scraps then and there. So I'll have my make, and then I tend to have a few scraps, and if it's something you've just made, everything that's just out coordinates fine. So it's a good time to do it. And so what I try to do is do like a little make with the scraps in question. And yeah, that seems to work. That seems to work quite well. Right, I'm going to take, I like him, but I think he needs to be over here somewhere. Yeah, so I thought, well, I'm always trying to use my scraps, so let's do it. Right, I am going to fussy cut this flower out, and that can make a sort of funky tree. So yes, this was right up my street, and yes, I'm sorry to say, I don't have a bag for life. I've got a little kind of poly bag with a few scraps in, but as I say, as you can see, I've pulled quite a few out, and I still managed to have quite a lot, so that's impressive. But let's see if we can use some up today. So what do you do with your scraps? I'm actually quite pleased. When I first started my YouTube channel, I think in one of my early videos I said, oh, I'll save all my scraps because I will use them, and I'll have to do a video on that. And I've never got round to doing it. So thank you, Call Me Crafty Al, for the push into doing it. I'm just hoping everything doesn't sell out by the 1st of December. Oh, the fabric's so pretty. I didn't realise quite how bad I was. I was like, oh yeah, I'll manage a month absolutely fine. But no, it's proving to be a bit more tricky than I had expected. So we will see how that goes. Right. That's quite cool. Right, I need a little sort of... shoot. Move the papers a bit more. Suddenly when you see papers like that, it's like, oh, I love that set when I had it. I don't quite like doing things completely straight. I think it adds to the quirkiness if things are a little bit wobbly. So I should have a tall sort of skyscraper going on there. I think we'll go with like a triangle top there, as soon as we've got that nice sort of stripe. I love doing this, just building a page from nothing. Let's have a sort of funny shaped door. And it feels good, doesn't it, getting rid of all the scraps. I think this is when, like, you know, your creativity can go wild. So I'm hoping watching me cut little bits of paper into random shapes is interesting. It's not too bad. I'm glancing at the time. 8 minutes, that's not too bad. I may have to do some of it off camera, but we'll see. Hopefully we can get it, get some sort of scene together briefly, so that you can see where we're going with this. Okay, get a little chimney. And then maybe if we've got some, what have we got? Got some bright pink here. And a little rummage. Can maybe cut a little love heart. Actually, I've not done a love heart window yet. I like doing stuff like that. Living in my little fantasy land as normal. Right, so we can have some love heart smoke coming out the chimney, because why not? Why not, indeedy? Right, let's have a little love heart window, seeing as I'm thinking about it now. might do some of like the inking of the edges and the sketchy bits sped up. Actually that's a bit big now. But yeah, I think this bit's quite good to see because you can kind of see the thought process behind where it's going. So I've got that, and then should we give them a little yellow door, trying to get the two sides to coordinate. Okay, sort of a quirky fairy village this, isn't it? Now, I quite like that. I'm just wondering whether to carry on with more houses or whether to have some funny trees. What do we think? This is when I suppose I could experiment with the whole live YouTube thing, but you know, that's a bit scary. But this is where it would be quite good, because I could go, what do you think? Should I have houses or trees? And you could actually reply to me. That would be awesome. Let's make ourselves some quirky trees and see what happens. I love this polka dot paper. I don't even know where half these kits came from. I think this may be like a bow bunny one or something. So making some funny trees. Okay. Oh, could have a wee stripy trunk. That would be cool. I like it. I like it. This suits my head, I tell you. It's a crazy place. It's a crazy place, this head of mine. Oh, I've got some. Yeah. Do a bigger one. Oh, sorry, cutting off camera. That's not so clever, is it? It's like... Okay. I think I'll put the wiggly one in. Put that in, and this one needs a little bit more shape at the top. It needs to be a bit narrower here. So we'll just take it in like so. Oops. Cutting off camera again, sorry. Right. That's looking quite cool. Okay. What other papers have I got? Some more green, so we could do a sort of bit of a bush thing going on. Okay, we could do that. That looks quite cool. Even if I say so myself. Oh dear. And then maybe we'll have one over here just to coordinate it so it looks like more part of a sea. Like so. Okay. And then maybe we should have one coming down here like that as well. Okay. I think we're getting there. This is when it looks really random. But I promise you it does come together. It does come together eventually. Okay, so we've got that. Right, we still need a little trunk, another pink trunk. Why not? We still need some sort of little trunk for the big flower thing. In fact, we could make it, if we made it just a big flower. Like in a fairy village where the flowers are like the trees. So if we did that, I think, should I put we need to somehow disguise the fact that that's got a straight edge. But I'll maybe need to have a little think about that. I think that's looking quite good. I'm quite pleased with that. So I think what I'm going to do next is I will ink round the edges with distress ink, because it does make things look a lot more defined. It makes everything look a lot more sense, but that's going to take a really long time for me to do that. And I will glue all the elements together. Once I have done that, then we'll start building this into an art journal page. Okay, I'll be back soon. Hi there, I'm back again and I have my little collection of houses. Don't they look so different with that bit of distress ink and then a little bit of doodling? So what I've done is I've just left one of them to assemble so that I can just show you briefly how I put them together. I'm just going to grab this because it's all I can find for just now. My blending mat that I was using when I was doing the houses earlier is, well, it's kind of white but it's also kind of filthy, so it's not going to look that great for filming. So yeah, I literally just kind of went round the edge with a coordinating distress ink of every single piece that I had cut, and then I edged it with a felt marker. This is one of my favourite tricks that I always do. I just think it adds such definition. I'm probably going to do some more doodling on my houses and things as well once they're on the page. Probably do a bit more. I'm probably going with a white pen as well, but just for a minute it kind of defines it for us a little bit. And then we just assemble it with some glue. And it's really simple, such a fun, easy way to use up your scraps. And you can also make some fun cards. I think the last time I did this sort of thing, I actually made a new home card. So yeah, today it's going to be a journal page, but it's the sort of thing that you can actually use for lots of things. And it doesn't have to be houses, just chop things into random shapes. Maybe I should have done a caravan or something, or something like that. But yeah, just think outside the box, quirky, whimsical, there's many colours and things that you can think of. So that I just glued everything together like that, and then I literally just got my black Posca pen. I went with my Posca pen rather than some of my fine liners, because hopefully when I start doing other mediums, when we start doing the journal page, it'll not be too bad. So I've literally just sketched, drawn wiggly lines around the edge. It just gives a little bit of definition. Some of them I've done this sort of little loop design on. It doesn't really matter, it doesn't have to be straight, but it just kind of gives a little bit of a definite edge. It's not realistic, it's meant to have the sketchy look, so it doesn't matter if your lines aren't sort of straight. It's kind of real art journal-y feel. So that's how I created my little houses. What I'm going to do next is get my stuff ready for creating the background, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back and I'm going to try and create a background. Now, in my head, all I knew I was doing was the houses, so I haven't thought about the background overly. I suppose easiest option for me would maybe be to, you know, squirt some, you know, like some pigment powders or something like that all over the place, and you know, just spray it. However, these are the backs of journal pages that I have done in the past, and I really like the journal pages. They're ones that I particularly like, so I don't want to be throwing too much water at this, because I would be really upset if I'd be really upset if I ended up ruining the pages that are underneath. So I'm going to try and do as much as I can with dry, kind of, keeping it dry, that's a bit darker than I expected it to be, and see how that goes. So I've got my Polkadoodles, I think, is it called the Great Outdoors stencil? I love this. This is one of my absolute favourite stencils. You can just do so much with it. Absolutely adore it. So I'm just trying to create a little bit of a sky texture, seeing as we are got the whole, you know, seeing as we're kind of creating a scene. So I have gone in with peacock feathers in both the traditional Distress Oxide, sorry, the traditional Distress ink and the Distress Oxides. And now what I'm doing is I've got the Distress Oxide squeezed lemonade, and I'm just bringing that in for a little bit of variation. So I want this to be quite soft because this is kind of going to be directly behind the houses. So we'll go with that. And then what I might do is come in with some greens. So I've got Twisted Citron, and I'll use the other side of this stencil, which creates a bit of a grass. Oh, see, just bent my thing up. So yeah, we will go with that. So what I will do as well is I will just stop the camera because the other side of the page is going to be exactly the same as what I have done here. So at risk of making the video 4 hours long, I will just do that little bit off camera, and then we will see what we've got to try and make it a little bit more funky. Okay, I will be back in a second. Okay, I am back. I've done the other side now. I want to make this a bit more quirky, and I do love my circles. So I'm going to come in with some more Distress inks. And this is a Sheena Douglas stencil. It's from her Grooving 60s range, and I do like this one. I've not used it in a while, so I'm just going to put some random pink circles in the sky, because why wouldn't you? Ah dear, and this is what I like about art. It doesn't have to be sensible. It can just be whatever you want it to be. Right, so let's see. We'll see how random this looks once I've lifted it off. Actually, I quite like that. It's alright, isn't it? Now, what I didn't show was I had to, obviously because it's a two-page spread, we kind of need some bits joining it. So I did actually match some of it up for the clouds, and I need to do that as well. Just a little bit here for some of the circles, just so that it doesn't look like two separate pages. It does actually just look like one cohesive page. So we'll do that. That's quite cool. I like that a lot. Don't know what it is about circles. Do love my circles. Okay, so I'll put some more on this side as well. So my camera decided very rudely to run out of batteries, so this is now the following day. So if there's a dodgy edit between the last little bit and this little bit, then I do apologise. I'm sorry about that. So I'll carry on with attempting to glue these houses down. And I've also pulled out a load of stamps and memento ink pads, and we'll just see about trying to finish this page off and see where we get. So yeah, that was unexpected. That's the first time that's happened to me since being here, so that's not too bad. Yeah, I suppose you have to go through everything in the book to live and learn, don't you? So just gluing my little houses down. Got my Cosmic Shimmer glue here. I suppose you could use a collage glue as well if you wanted, but this is fit for purpose at the minute, so I'm quite happy with that. Now, for this bit here, I'm going to have to put my two bits together and glue it over so that we get it exactly in the centre. So I'll just do that now, just so that we have our cohesive page. So I will stick that down and then grab my scissors. Oops. Just flip that round. As I said, you can see there was pages I liked on the opposite side. I think I've got a video for that one. Not that one. That was one I did for as a blog post a while ago. Okay, righty-ho, so now I can stick my tall house there. So obviously this is not an original idea from mine. If you browse Pinterest or even YouTube, there's probably thousands of people that make up little villages and houses out of scrap bits of paper. But this is my take on it. I've been inspired by those people, so but I think it's a fun way of using up your scraps. I'm always trying to think of different ways to use up scraps, so this is what we've gone with today anyway. And what's scary is I've actually used quite a lot, and I'm not sure that it's put the biggest dent in them. But there you go. I think I'll put that one going between the two pages as well. Actually, I don't think in this particular journal I've done a double page spread yet, so that's probably quite good. I do try and get the two pages that are near each other to coordinate on some of it. Actually, I think I would have preferred that. I'm just going to tuck him behind there. Oops. Sorry about that. Just change my mind for a second there. Okay. And I'll do the same. Just, oops. Oh, maybe do, actually, what I might do in this instance is just chop that. Stick it like that. See how that goes. There you go, two ways of doing it. That wasn't an intentional thing, but hey ho, I'm going to go with it. I am going to go with it. Right, now I need this flower to be further down. I suddenly realised that if I turned it on its side that would hide the straight edge with the house. But I just need to make sure that I get my heights right for that to work. So we'll see how we go with that. Oops. Okay. Put my little hills down. It's very quirky, isn't it? It's very kind of cartoon-like, but it's fun. It's fun. Okay, so pop that there, and then I'll get my little housey in, and the trees, and then I think we will be ready for the next little bit. Right. There we go, see? Can't tell we have a straight edge. So that's good. Okay. I'll put these ones over. So I'm quite pleased with that. Now sometimes you have an idea in your head, but it doesn't quite work out the same in reality. This has actually worked out not too bad. Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to do next, I'd like to kind of make everything feel part of the page, like it belongs, and one of my favourite ways of doing that is to stencil over everything again now, but to kind of catch bits of the houses and things as well. So, and then that will kind of tie it together. Then I'm hoping to do a little bit more stamping, a little bit of stamping, and then of course I have to outline everything. Just because, you know, I need to. So I'm just going to get a bit of gesso, and this stencil here is from Polkadoodles. I think it's the everyday one. It's got like different sections in it, and I have chopped it up. They also have some gorgeous new stencils which I cannot wait to play with. That package arrived the other day, so I'm looking forward to having a little play with that. Some lovely feathers and things, and the coolest mixed media girl you've ever seen. I love mixed media girls, but then sometimes if it's kind of difficult to know how to achieve it, but there's stamps and stencils that match, so you can create your own girl. Awesome idea. Nikki always comes up with the most innovative ideas. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a little play with that. So what I'm doing here is it's just a tiny detail. It's not actually showing up tremendously much, but for me it just ties the background and the foreground together, and it gives it a cohesive look. and so it looks less like things have just kind of been randomly stuck on a page. So I quite like to do that. So I'm just going to add a few more bits and bobs here and there and see where we are. So like with these things, they take a direction of their own. It's kind of, I have a slight plan in my head, and then it's just I go with the flow. I've never been one of these people that was able to follow sketches particularly well. I always find them quite restrictive. I just kind of need to be able to left to play to my own devices. I very rarely know at the beginning of a creation what it's going to look like at the end. I have as I said, I have an idea in mind and a plan, but I just tend to go with the flow. So we will see what happens here. Now I'm noticing little bits and bobs, like for example that tree looks like it's floating, so we will need to do something to correct that. We will need to kind of ground it in some way or another. So that will be one of the things that I will be looking at. So I think we're kind of there with this. And what I've done is I've pulled out a load of stamps, and I've got some Memento ink pads in various colours, and we will see what we can do about creating a bit of a foreground. Now I'm going to have to let this gesso dry a little bit, so I might just go off camera for a second and just blast it with the heat gun, and then when this is ready to be worked on again, I will be back. Okay, so I am back, and I have pulled out a Leonie Pujol stamp. This one's called Everlasting Love from Crafter's Companion, and it's one that as yet I have not inked up, so I am about to rectify that. I've got some Memento Tuxedo Black, and I am going to take my ink to the stamp and just try doing a little bit of stamping. I just thought this would make some, the flowers are quite funky, and it would make a good foreground image. That's a mop-up sheet. I'm just going to try and protect my desk somewhat, so I'm thinking that that would look quite nice there. And just pushing down on that. Oops, not stamped that particularly well, so we'll try that again. I will probably have to stand up and do that, so I'll try and stand up without getting my head in shot. And I also have to try and measure, I also have to try and make sure that I line that up as best I can. So just going by that there. If it doesn't line up exactly, it doesn't matter. I think also as well the fact that I am working on uneven surface now, because obviously we've got the collage elements, so we've got lots of different layers of height and things like that. So we're maybe not going to get a perfect stamp, but we're kind of going with a bit of a doodly look anyway. So it's not perfect, but we can work with that. We can add some little bits and bobs in there. So I'm going to just ink it up again. And I think I'm going to add a corner of one up here. Okay. And I'm going to add one down here as well. Okay. Then I'm going to get some pencils out and add some details to that flower. So I'll maybe colour one up, or colour part of one up, and then I will do the rest off camera. Okay, and we have that one there. That one's stamped about the best out of everything so far. So I will grab some Prismacolor pencils. I've got some here. I actually have a proper collection downstairs. This is my... When I first started with Prismacolors, I bought a bunch of seconds online, and they're fine, but they do tend to break quite easily. So these are, I tend to colour downstairs watching the TV, So I keep my my full set downstairs, and this is to sort of play with. But I do like the prismas, they blend beautifully. Now, to be honest, I am not, if I was doing some serious colouring in, I would not be doing it quite as quick as this. But I'm just kind of going to give you a bit of an impression of that. So I've kind of gone a bit back to front. I should probably have had the yellow at the start of the flower, but that's okay. I'm just not thinking. I've not coloured on oh no, I have. I've done a bit of watercolouring on my videos before, but not with pencils. And as I said, I'm probably going to go over quite a lot of this with doodling a bit later anyway, so any bits that are just not quite working for me can be fixed fairly easily. So normally if I was colouring, I tend to take a lot more time about it. I don't tend to go in this like with this much pressure straight away. Normally I would build up gradually, but it's just the sort of look that I'm going for on this one. I'm not too worried about it, so I'll just let me see, I've got a bit of an orange there. And then just to give that orange a little bit of depth, I will come in with a bit of brown. Oops. I'll come in with a bit of brown. You can tell these need sharpened as well. Okay. And I'll just sort of, oops, line that out. Right, and I'll just do a little leaf as well. Again, if you've seen me do leaves with watercolour, I tend to like to use teal and yellow. I don't know why, that's just my favourite way of creating leaves. I find it, I don't know, I like the transition. I like the fact that you get the teal and the lime and the yellow all out of by blending those two particular colours together. I prefer it to the grass green. It's just a personal thing, it's not saying that that's the way it should be done. But yeah, I just like that. I am just going to get a bit of a lime green there just to kind of blend between the two colours, because it's not blended quite so well as the watercolours would have done. But as I said, I will go over some of this with a bit of doodling a bit later. I'm just trying to decide what colour to put in here. Put a bit of pink. Okay, so that's me coloured up that one flower there. I'm just going to go off camera and colour the other ones, and then I will be back for the next step. Okay there, so that's me coloured those in, and as you can see, the fact that I missed some of the lines, it doesn't really show up so much, and when I go to do some more kind of doodly outlines, yeah, you'll not even see there. In that same Leonie Pujol stamp set, there are a couple of, there's a little bumblebee, which I just adore bumblebees. So I am going to pop in a few of those. I'll put another one near this flower. Okay. We've also got this sort of kind of quirky, swirly sort of thing. So I am going to ink that up and stamp that with some pink. So again, I've got my Memento, and this is the Rosebud, and I'm just going to do some little sort of pink bubbly plant things. And do that, just to again create that little bit of interest, and it all kind of adds to that sketchy look. I'm not sure how well that's showing up on camera. It looks really cool in real life. I'm not sure how well that's showing up. Sorry. Okay, so I'll just put a few more of those about. Maybe put one in there in between those houses just to tie it together, and then maybe just a couple over here. Okay. So that's me done that. Okay, now I think I want some, let me see, background. I I wanted to do some embossing with that one. So my idea was I'd put some in the sky, so let's see if I've got a light blue ink. I don't think I do in Memento, so I will look at my distress inks. I've got the peacock feathers here, so I think that might do it. And I don't even know which. Oh yeah, sorry, trying to take that away from the camera a bit. Woodware. This is a woodware stamp set. Oh, it's all as a one. I wasn't quite expecting that. Okay, that's not really what I want. Okay, just give me a second, I'm going to have to cut this up. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't realise that was all one stamp, and I don't like it all as one stamp. So this, I've not been able to cut it perfectly because I think it was designed to be all one image, but I kind of wanted the little bursts of flowers separate and to be able to do my own thing with them. So I've chopped them up. So I actually switched out my ink as well to the tumbled glass because I just want this to be like a really faint sort of feature in the sky. It's almost like a firework flower sort of thing. So I'll put that in there because I've got a smaller one as well that I cut. So I'm just going to stamp that a few times, and then I also had the idea that I would do it at the front of the image as well, but emboss it in white. So we will see how that goes. Okay, so and I've got the smaller one. Okay, and maybe just pop down here. I just thought that would give it a little bit of cohesion. Okay, and I've just realised that I had this great idea, and whilst I was off camera I should have got my Versamark and my white embossing powder, so I will just go and do that now. Okay, so I'm back and I have got my embossing powder to the ready, and I am just going to again stamp this up with my Versamark. And I was just thinking it would give a little bit of floral interest in the foreground of these little houses and landscape that we've got going on here. And then I might just put another little bit. Now it's not going to have stamped perfectly because we're on so many uneven surfaces, but hopefully it will give an impression of something. So I'll just get my white embossing powder and throw that over there. We'll see what we've managed to catch. So that's not too bad actually. So I will get my heat gun and just start that off. Now the best thing to do when you're embossing is not to do this. It takes much longer. It takes a bit of patience at first. You can just see that bit in the corner of the house just going there. I still think heat embossing is one of the most magical things in crafting. Never tire of it. Probably been doing it for 10-15 years now and still don't tire of it. So that's it beginning to change there. I've got a slower heat gun, so it does tend to take its time, and I've got quite a bit there, so you've seen it begin to turn just there on the house. So again, I'll come off camera and just finish that off camera. Okay, so we're beginning to get there. I'm still wanting to kind of frame the scene a little bit, so I thought I would do that by using this stencil. This stencil is from Polkadoodles. Oh, I can't remember the name of it offhand, but I will have it in the links below. But it's just got some gorgeous leaves and things on it. So I'm just going to take some of those little ones. They do kind of sort of go in all which directions, but I'm going to try and frame it with the bigger leaves. So I have got my Distress Oxide, and I have got peacock feathers and squeezed lemonade, and I'm just going to alternate between the two and put some of these leaves down. I think I'm going to have to go in a little bit heavier because I used the same colours to do the clouds of the sky, so it's just that's blending in a little bit, but maybe if I go a bit heavier, that should work. Beginning to contaminate my distress oxide there, so let's see how we go. And I'm just hoping if I layer lots of these up, that we will create a sort of tree. We've got a different size here as well, that we will have just a little bit of a foliage frame to our piece. And now I think I'll get some more of these little twiddly bits just to come out of what we've got there, just to kind of soften it a little bit. And that's just given the scene just a little bit of a frame. So I think I'll just pop a few just tips of them in the middle. And again, I'm going to try and do one that goes across the 2 pages. So we've got that sort of coordinating look. Again, going in with the 2 colours. A few little prongy bits. So that should just got a little bit there, and then I will just do some down the side here as well. And hopefully that just gives a bit of framework to our scene. It's hopefully that just, I don't know, I believe everything needs framed. It does in my world anyway. I always seem to end up having to put a border or a black edge or something round it. I need to get a clean dauber. I've kind of well and truly marked that one up. So yeah, kind of some of the smaller ones as well. And that's all kind of blended into each other, so I'm just going to put another one like that, just so that we've got the shades and tones. So I've kind of got a sort of the peacock feathers, then the sort of mixed colour that it's making by itself of the squeezed lemon, and then I'm trying to kind of do one that's just pure colour as well, and then that's given us our shades and tones for it all. Maybe mix it up, some of these leaves as well, and some of these little twiddly bits coming down just to soften it. And hopefully we're all good there. What I might just do as well, let's just give that a bit of extra colour around the edges there. Oops, sorry, doing that off camera. Okay, and then I will go in and just soften those edges up with the leaves, and then we've got a very sort of definite line of foliage just there. Yeah, so I think that's made a difference. Okay, so I think we are most likely on the home straight. There's still a few bits and pieces that I would quite like to do. So one of them is, let me see, what stamps did I pull out? I think some of these ones, just give a little bit of doodly details. Sorry. Okay. So we'll see what we've got here. Actually, for this one, I might just do it freehand so that I don't get the whole stamp in the way. Oops. And I will go with a little bit of black. And just try and do some random bits of stamping there, just to give the piece a little bit of texture. Okay, so when I first put that down, I kind of panicked. I'm like, oh, I've ruined it, but we won't. I will keep going with it, and it will all turn out okay in the end. So obviously that black is quite harsh, so now I want to kind of soften that down a little bit. So I'm going to get these pink sort of polka dot things, because we've got a lot of dots going on. So I will stamp some dots. Some more dots. Can't have enough dots. Just kind of grunging things up a little bit, and then what I will do, see, this is what I was saying, I'm not sure if it was on this video, it actually might not have been. I'm recording 2 videos simultaneously, so we might have a sort of spot the continuity issues. I think it was the other video I was saying on that gesso, I love gesso. You can fix everything in the world with gesso. So I think that will be my mixed media series on use the supplies that you have, and I think I talk about it. So I am actually, I like the dots, but I am a little bit unhappy with how black these things are. Now the reason I went with the dots is if I grab my Polkadoodles stencil again, if I can see where I have laid it. Right, give me 2 seconds, I will locate it. Okay, sorry about that, I've just found it. I also found this stencil here, which I have got, I think that's from Snip Art. I got it in one of the Craft Box UK boxes, and I love the text on it. It reminds me of my granddad's typewriter, so I just thought that might look quite nice in the background. It's kind of mostly showing up as dots there, but we'll see how we go. Try putting a bit more over here, see what happens. Yeah, it's not really turning out as text, but it looks like dots, so we're just going to have lots of dots layered. So that is one of the things that the reason that I kind of went for the dot stamp there is that we're going to just have a whole load of dotty things going on. So I don't like the way that black has turned out, it's too heavy for me. So I will grab my gesso and we will knock it back. So it will still be there as a detail, but it will be part of the background. And seeing as I kind of have this layer of dots and polka dot thing going on, it'll just look like part of the plan. So I'm going to go over that, and we'll just knock that black back a little bit. I need to put that on a bit heavier, but it's getting there. Okay, and then I'll do some over here as well. Let's put some up here as well, so it looks like we've been deliberately putting them all over the page. Okay, so that way we've just kind of knocked that writing back a little bit, so it'll be a little bit of a feature, but not too overpowering. Okay, and then by the time I do some extra doodling as well, that will make a difference. Okay, so just a tiny bit more stamping. 2 of my favourite little kind of quirky birds. I can't even remember what brand this is. I don't even have packaging anymore, but I bought it forever ago. Maybe something like, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. But it's got this gorgeous cute little owl in it. And for a while, all my makes had a little owl hidden somewhere. And he's just really cute, and I think he works perfect on a little page like that, so I'm just going to hide him in a couple of spots. And then I have got this Polkadoodles set as well, and this has also got a cute little quirky bird in it. When these were being released, I was having to stop myself from using it, so he didn't end up in every single sample that there was. He's just adorable, so I need to put him on too. So I'm going to put him up on the roof up here. And I will maybe put him down here by the house as well. Okay, so I will colour those in later when I'm off camera, because you've seen me colouring. I am now just going to do some outlining. So I will grab my pencil, which should be next to me. As you can see, I am crafting in a mess again. Well, you can't actually see it because I'm keeping the pretense up pretty well by having the camera so close to my desk. If you could see what was behind it, on the other hand, might not look quite so impressive. So I am just going to grab an Inktense pencil and a little paintbrush, and as normal I will show you a little bit of this and then I will go off camera because this is quite a labour intensive technique. It does tend to take a while to do, but I do find it really does make a difference just to do that little bit of shadowing. It really helps the pieces to stand out from the page. So I have got ink black here, kind of a darker one than I'd expected. I have said on my videos, but in case this is the first one that you've watched, the reason I like Inktense for this is it has the movement and freedom that watercolour gives you, but once it is dry it is permanent, so it means you can really layer up and get a really good depth of colour, because you can go back and the layer underneath is not going to move. So as you can see, I've just done that roof there, and I'm sure you'll agree that that's standing out of the page a lot more than the rest of it. So I'm going to go around the whole page and do that, and then I will be back literally probably just to do a little bit of doodling to finish off. Okay, so I think we're finally on the home straight off camera. I've shadowed everything and I've also coloured in the little birdies that I stamped. There they are. And also I put a bit of shading under the tree just to ground it a little. So now I'm just kind of going to go in and finish that with doodles. So I'm just going to draw a little bit of grass around those trees. It just helps to ground it. Also just going to put an edging round the page because I just think it frames it. So again, I'm just going with a squiggly, doodly look. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do a few little bits and bobs. Right, I'm obviously going to go along this page now. I don't want to go down the centre because it's a 2-page spread, so I don't want to divide that now that I've gone to all the effort of making it cohesive. I'm actually just saying that because I'm just glad that I didn't accidentally do it by mistake. I realise that most of you probably work that out for yourself. But you know, sometimes I'm just not that bright. Okay, so I'll give a bit more definite, because I've coloured my little birdies with the Prisma. They can sometimes get a little bit lost. The line can get a bit lost, so I'll just put that detail back in. Also, there was some of these flowers that didn't quite stamp properly, so we've put the colour in with the Prisma pen, but now just kind of going in and doing a bit of doodling will correct that so that it looks fine. It doesn't matter that it's not stamped properly. We've kind of disguised that. I'm not sure that there's much more black doodling that I want to do. I think I've kind of done most of that, but I would quite like to go in and do some white doodling. So I'm just going to get my Posca pen activated and maybe just go around some of these. Oops, not quite running freely. Going around some of these bits and bobs with a bit of white doodling as well. I don't know, I think the black and white together make such a difference. Little highlights on the flowers, little bits and pieces. Oops. Especially on that shadowing, because it's ended up going a little bit dark, which is fine because it does the job, but now just having a little bit of white on it just helps that to pop. So I'm just kind of going over some of my details so that we've got the black and the white, and that contrast really just starts to bring it to life. Most artists will tell you that it's about light and shade, and this isn't being arty or anything, it's just very basic kind of scribbling, but when you've got a look like this it's fine because it's just kind of adding to that kind of sketchy sketchy mixed media feel. It's not meant to be perfect. I'll do some of these stuff here. So I'm just going to keep going round. It's using its, I don't know, flow. And I'm just going to go around and do that. I think especially on the flowers, it just helps to bring it to life. Just a few little white dots. I quite often do that when I'm colouring with watercolour anyway, even if I'm not going for a doodly effect. I quite often do this. If you check out some of my watercolour cards and things that I've done, I think like the first few tutorials that I put onto my blog, you can see that I nearly always do this white pen technique. Except I'm struggling with it. Maybe I'll have to get myself a new one. I'm just going to draw around the outside of that flower, give it a bit more of a sketchy feel. And I'm going to redo the black line around the edge of this kind of mushroom house, just because quite a lot of extra medium has gone there and we've kind of just maybe lost the edging of it, so we'll just kind of bring that back and define it a little bit. Sorry, squeaky chair there. Okay, so I think that's us kind of getting there. Finishing touches. Just wonder if the Jane Davenport will look. I don't actually find this Jane Davenport pen all that white, but there we go. Right, I'll stick with that for the minute because I'm not sure that I might touch up some of the white bits myself a bit later. And I don't know why, I have never done pink splashes before. I've got a real desire to make my splashes pink. I'm not particularly sure why. I'm just checking that that's actually going to look pink and not red yet. I don't know why. I've never done pink splashes before. I normally stick with black, white or gold, but for some reason I have a desire for pink ones. So I'm using my Kuretake Gansei Tambi, and this is number 31. So I'm just going to add a few splashes. Maybe I need to add some white as well. Maybe I will still do it. I need to wait for this to dry. And I already feel like I'm crafting past my bedtime. But I've not put up a video for ages. It's because I'm working on a project I can't share just at this minute, but hopefully I may be able to share it later. Because of that I'm a bit out of, I'm glad I went with pink. I quite like that a lot actually. So I'll just give that a little second to dry, and I will maybe come back and just add the final white splashes. Okay, so definitely the final bit this time. In my eagerness to try and clean up my desk, I ended up smudging some of the splatters about there. So I ended up just putting a bit more of the pink on and kind of spraying it with water to make it look a bit more deliberate, and I put a bit there as well. So I still managed to fix it. And now I am going in with some more of the Kuretake Gansei Tambi, this time number 10. And I like the Gansei Tambis for this technique because their paints, although they're a watercolour, they are so opaque that is, I just really like them for that. So I'm just going to add a few white splashes. I think it adds something as well as having the pink. I don't know, can't seem to make anything without adding splashes, but I don't seem to be the only one. If you look online, I think nearly everybody puts splashes on things. I don't know, it's just one of those things. It's like, what's missing? I don't know, I'll add some splashes and see if that works. It's like years ago when I used to do card making. It's like, well, I still do card making, but I do a much more wider, a wider variety. I want to make sure I've got some splashes on this bit at the front, seems I messed it up, just to kind of tie it in a bit here. Yeah, I used to, it's like, what's missing? Bit of glitter glue. Bit of glitter glue and a butterfly fixes everything. Now when it comes to mixed media, splashes. splashes to the world of good. So that is me. That is my double journal spread using a whole load of my scraps from my scrap bag. And I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. So thank you for joining me, and hopefully I will be back soon with another video. If you've enjoyed this, please do feel free to like and subscribe and to share. I really appreciate all the support that I get. Thank you again, and we'll see you again soon. Okay then, bye.